Hey, it's me, Doston, and in this video I wanted to share things that I wish I knew when I was 20. It's been 3 years since I came to Japan, and since then I've experienced a lot of things, made a lot of mistakes, and of course the most important thing is to learn from your mistakes. And today is the coming age day in Japan, and I hope this one also will be useful who turned to 20, and you will learn from my mistakes, from my journey. And in this video, mostly related to education, to your studies and business. I hope it will be useful to you, and let's start.
First one is don't chase trends. And we have so many things right now. And back then, if you remember, we had wine and we had bitcoins. Everyone was talking about that. But when you see right now, yeah, some people did, some people tried, but trends, they always change. And if you don't really focus on one thing, you will probably fail. Because if you see big CEOs, if you see one of the biggest companies in the world, their founders, they were really good at one thing and they really focused on one thing. That's why, of course, you can try a lot of things, but if you focus and if you're tunnel vision in one thing, you will probably succeed in the end if you're trying and doing it over and over again.
You want good results, right? Not just be average. So that's why I think sometimes we need to be more a tunnel vision, and not listen to everyone. And this is my second one, because of course our friends, our family play important part in our life, but if you listen all of them, you will never be successful and you will never be satisfied with what you do. You need to rely on your personality and on your guts, because when you want to do something, if you just listen to your parents, maybe they're right, but they look at their perspective, because it worked for them, but for you it might be different. It might be in marriage, it might be in business or anything. So if you want to really start something, don't tell everyone. Probably you can start in the beginning, try by yourself, and then if you want some feedback, maybe you need to ask someone who is already an expert, who is better in this field, instead of asking everyone. So you should really rely on yourself first.
Number 3 is really important, and I really learned it from hard way, because you just need to show up. This is might seem easy, it seems pretty reasonable, but I see a lot of people in the beginning of the semester or in the beginning of the new year, they're really passionate, they really want to do something, but in the end or in the middle, they just ignore or they just disappear. And you need to really stick into a thing that you want to do, and you don't need to be the best one, you don't need to be the coolest one, but if you just show up, if you show up on time and do even average, you will get better than someone who is really passionate in the beginning, but in the middle they just skip classes or they stop putting out content. Yeah, I see some people, they try to do that. I was also a little similar. I was really interested into Instagram and Facebook ads, but then I was nah, I don't really like it. But I have this kind of guilt as well, so that's why sometimes I feel it's better to do whatever you have to do. because later on it will be like your personality and it will stick to you. If you don't show up, people will notice it, and then later on it may affect into your relationship or your connections. And if you go to places, people will see how you act with them. And I think like it's also very important in Japan to be on time and just to show up. Doesn't matter, to classes or to meetings.
Number 4 is, of course, work is important, but you should also rest sometimes. You should recharge yourself. Of course, you need to take care of your studies, your business, your work, but our mental health is really important. Like we should take care of ourselves, because who else will do? If you're in foreign country, of course your parents cannot stay with you 24/7. Your friends cannot take care of you all the time, of your health. I think it's very important what you eat, what you like drink, and what kind of vitamins you take, and also your sleep. Yeah, I understand. We try to study. We need to get good grades. We need to get good results. We want everything, but in the end of the day, nothing really matters, to be honest. And sometimes you feel like, oh, I have so many problems. I have so many things to do, and then like I'm failing in everything. But in a grand scale of our universe, we are so tiny, and it might seem like a huge problem, maybe like in your relationship or in your business, but it's fine. Like you will be fine. And sometimes we worry too much, and I hope you will take care of your yourself. Maybe you want to start meditating. Maybe you need to not just look, but also inner side you need to improve.
And finally, don't be scared to try something new, because we have this habit, we have something that we do every day. Of course, it's really important to be consistent, but if you sometimes try something new, it won't affect you poorly. It will be even a good skill, not just the skill that you have, but what have you learned from this thing, and you can use it maybe in the future. Steve Jobs said, connecting dots. For example, I'm learning something about photography or videography, and it was useful later on when I had to teach someone about this, and it was really useful that I've learned before I watched so many videos about photography, because there is content, there is so much you can learn on internet even, and then you can progress, or you can focus on your thing that you enjoy, and the whole process will be just enjoyable. Because I see so many people starting their own YouTube channel, or they're trying to put some content on the internet, but they don't really enjoy the process, and it comes out really. You can see the people and the person is doing something not just because of the whole process that he's enjoying, but just for some result. He sees, oh, those vloggers, oh, those YouTubers, they're getting so much money, or they're getting so much audience, but they forget about the process that they need to put on. And if you don't like this thing, it will be really hard for you to stick to your new habit or to your new interest. So that's why you should still try something and enjoy the whole process.
I hope who turned 20 today or this year will get more things to learn in the future, and from my journey, from other mistakes you can learn and you can improve to achieve your dreams or whatever you want to do in your life. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please like this, comment in the video what other things you already experienced in your 20s, and subscribe if you're new here, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.